同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
今天我们在这里
we're
隆重
holding
集会，
this solemn gathering today
纪念孙
to
中山
mark
先
the
生诞
anniversary
辰
of Dr.
150
Sun
周年，
Yat-sen's birthday 150 years
缅怀
ago,
他
to pay tribute
为民族独立、
for his historic
社会进
contribution
步、
to national
人民
independence,
幸福建
social
立的
progress, and
不朽功
people's
勋，
welfare,
弘扬他的
promote
革
his
命精神
revolutionary spirit
和崇高
and
品
moral
德，
character,
激励
and
海
inspire
内外中华儿
all
女
Chinese sons and
为
daughters
实
at
现
home
中
and
华民
abroad
族伟大复兴
to unite
而团
and
结
work
奋斗。
for the great renewal of the Chinese nation.
孙中山先生
Dr. Sun Yat-sen
是伟大的
is a
民
great
族英雄，
national hero,
伟大的
a great
爱
patriot,
国主义者，中国民主革
and
命
a
的
forerunner of
伟大先
China's
驱，
democratic revolution.
一生以革命为
He
己任，
dedicated all his life to the cause of
救
revolution,
国救民，
to save the nation
为中
and
华
save the
民族
people.
做出了标本史册的
His contribution has gone down the annals of the Chinese history.
时代造就伟大
History makes
伟
great
大人
man,
物。
and a great man has his impact on his time.
150年前，
When Dr. Sun was born
孙中山先
150
生
years
出生
ago,
之时，中国
China was experiencing
遭受
the
帝国主
brutal
义列强
aggression of imperialist powers
封建
and
专
was
制制度
subjected
的
to the corrupt ruling of feudal autocracy.
战乱
The
频
country
发，
was ravaged by strife and conflicts.
中华民族陷
People
入
lived in
内忧外
destitution
患
and
的
deep
灾难
misery.
深渊，
The Chinese
中国人
nation
民
as a
处于
whole was
水
beset
深火热
by
的
domestic turmoil
悲惨境
and
地。
foreign bullying.
在那个
In that
风雨无悔的
grim
年代，
situation,
中华民
the
族
Chinese nation
不畏
displayed
屈服，
its indomitable will.
无数仁人志士
Countless visionary
前赴
people
后继，
who held
探求
lofty
救国救民的
ideals
道路，
made unyielding struggle
进
for
行
national
不可
salvation.
气的抗争，
Dr. Sun Yat-sen
孙中山
was an outstanding member
就是他们中的
among
杰
those
出代表。
representatives.
年轻时代，
As a young man,
孙中山先生
Dr. Sun saw
目
with
睹
his
山
own
河破
eyes
碎，
a shattered
生灵涂
country and a suffering people.
急整
He thus
四民
vowed
于水火，
to save the
切
people
腹大
from
厦
misery
将倾，
and stop the country from collapsing without
反
delay.
对封建
He
专
held
制
high
统
the
治
banner
体制，
to reject
毅然
feudal
投身
autocracy
民主革命
and
上
devoted his lifetime to
他
democratic
创立幸福会
revolution.
同
He
盟会
initiated the Revived
提出
China Society and the
民
United
族
League,
民权
put forward
民生
the
的
three principles of the
三民主义，
people of nationalism,
积极传播
democracy,
革命
and
思想，
people's livelihood,
广泛联合
disseminated
革命力量，
revolutionary ideas,
连续发
reached
动
out
武
and
装
unified revolutionary
为
forces,
推进民主革
launched
命
multiple armed
四处
uprisings, and did everything he could to enlist support for the revolution.
1911年，
In 1911,
在他的领导
under his
和
leadership
影响下，
and influence,
震惊世界
the
的辛亥
Xinhai
革命
Revolution, which shook the world, succeeded in
推翻了
overthrowing
清王朝
the
统
Qing
治，
dynasty
结束了
and
统治
putting
中
an
国
end to the
几
system
千年
of
的
monarchy
君主专制
which
制。
ruled China for thousands of years.
由于历史进程，
Although constrained by historical and social conditions,
辛亥
the
革命
revolution of 1911
虽然没有改
did
变
not change the nature of China as a semi-colonial, semi-feudal society,
也没有改
did
变
not change
中
the
国人
plight
民的悲惨
of the
命运，
Chinese people
没有完成实
or
现
complete
民族独
the
立、
historical mission
人民解放的
for
历史
national independence and people's liberation.
但开
The
创了
revolution
完
was
全意
a
义上
thoroughly
近
modern,
代
national,
民族
democratic revolution,
打开了
which
中国
opened the floodgate to
进步
progress
他们
for China,
传播了
spread the
民主
idea
共和
of
理念，
democracy and republic,
极大推动了
greatly emancipated the
中华民族
minds
思想
of
解
the
放，
Chinese people,
以巨大的
and
震撼力
brought about
和影响力，
earth-shaking
推
impact
动了
and seminal
中国
changes
社会变
to the
革。
Chinese society.
孙中山先生的伟大，
The greatness of
不
Dr.
仅在于
Sun
他领导，
not only in his leadership over the
而且在于
revolution of
他
1911,
为了实
but the
现
fact
革命理
that
想，
he was able to
与时
constantly
俱进，
adapt
完
and
善自
advance
己的
his
革命
revolutionary
理念
thinking and
和斗争
approach
方略，
in order to achieve his
毫不
revolutionary
妥协，
vision, and
同逆
has
时代
fought
潮流而动的
unswervingly
各种
against
势力
all
进行斗争。
reactionary forces.
他坚决反对
He stood
军
firmly
阀
against
分裂
the
割据，
warlords carving up the country,
坚定维护
and stood
民主
firmly
共和制度
for
和
a
国家
democratic
完整统
republic
一。
and national integrity and unity.
十月革命爆发后，
After the outbreak of the
马克思列
October
宁主义
Revolution
传入
in
中国，
1917,
为孙中
Marxism
山先生
Leninism
认
was
识世界
introduced into
和
China
中国
and
打开了
opened a new
新的
vista
视
for
野。
Dr. Sun's understanding of the world
中
and
国
of
共产
China.
党成立后，
After the founding of the Communist
孙
Party
中
of
山先生
China, Dr. Sun
同
Yat-sen
中
worked
国共产党
earnestly
人
with the Chinese
合
communists,
作，在中国共
and
产党
with the
帮
help
助下
of，the latter,
把旧三
he
民主义
developed
发展为新三
the
民主义，
new three principles of the people,
实行联俄
practiced the
联共
policies of
扶
alliance
助
with
农工
Russia,
三大政策，
cooperation with communists, and assistance
改组
for the
中国
farmers
国民
and
党，
workers,
推动
reorganized
北伐
the
战争
Chinese
取
Kuomintang,
得胜利，
pushed the northern
把
expedition
反
to
帝反
victory,
封建的民主革
and
命
advanced the
推向前线。
anti-imperial, anti-feudal democratic
毛
revolution.
泽东同志把三民主义
Comrade
纲
Mao
领
Zedong once described
统一战
Dr.
线
Sun
政策、
Yat-sen's three principles of the
艰苦
people,
奋斗精神，
his united front
并称
policy,
为
and
孙中
hard-working
山先
spirit
生
as
留给我们的
the most central,
最中心、
most
最本质
fundamental, and most
最伟大的
significant
遗产，
legacy he has left us,
是对于
and
中
the
华民
greatest
族
contribution
最
he
伟
has
大的
made
贡献。
to the Chinese nation.
孙中山先生为当时中国的
Pained
积贫
to
积
see
弱
a China mired in extreme weakness and poverty, Dr. Sun was the first to call out for efforts to revitalize China.
他认为
He noted
建设
that construction
为革命
is
之
the sole
唯一
purpose
目的。
of revolution,
他坚信
and he believed
革命
that
成功
after
以后，
victory of revolution,
经过全
and
民族努
with
力
the，efforts of the entire
中
nation,
国一定能够
China will
迎头赶上
definitely
世界
catch
先
up
进国家。
with advanced nations of the world.
他满怀豪情地
He
说，
envisioned with pride
一旦
that once
我们
the
革新
grand
中国
goal
的伟大目
of
标
transforming
得以
China
实现，
was accomplished,
不但在我们
not
的美
only
丽
our
的国
beautiful
家
country
将
will
会出
see the
现
dawn
新纪元的
of
曙
a new
光，
era,
整个人
but the
类
entire
也
humanity
将
will
得以
enjoy
共享
even brighter
更为
prospects.
光明的前景。孙中山先生为中国
Because of his great contribution to the Chinese people and the Chinese
做
nation,
出了杰出贡献，
Dr. Sun Yat-sen
在中
enjoys
国人
high
民心中
esteem among the Chinese
享
people,
有崇高威望，
and he's widely
受到
revered
全体
by all sons
中华
and
儿女
daughters
敬仰。
of the Chinese nation.
今天缅怀
Today, as we
孙
pay
中山
tribute
先生建
to
立的历
his
史功绩，
historic exploits
缅
and
怀
honor
孙中山先
his
生为
lifelong
中国人
dedication
民
to the well-being
鞠躬
of
尽
the
瘁的
Chinese
光辉一
people,
生，我们心中
we are filled
充满着
with a sense
深
of
深
great
的崇敬
reverence for Dr. Sun Yat-sen from the depth of our hearts.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
中国共产
the
党
Chinese communists
是孙中山先
are
生革
the
命
most
事业
staunch
最
supporter,
坚定的支持者，
the most
最忠诚
faithful
的合
cooperator,
作者，
and the most loyal
最忠
inheritor
实的
of the
继承者。
revolutionary cause started by Dr. Sun
在他
Yat-sen.
生前，
While he was
中
alive,
国共产党
the Chinese
坚定支
communists
持
firmly
孙中
supported
山先生的事
Dr.
业。
Sun's cause.
在他身后，
After his death,
中国共
the
产党
Chinese
人
communists
忠实继承
have faithfully
孙中
carried
山先
forward
生的遗志，
his behest,
团结带领
rallied
全国各
and
族人民
led the Chinese
英勇
people of
奋斗
all ethnic groups
继续
in
前进，
tenacious struggle
付出巨
and
大
made
牺牲，
a huge
完成了
sacrifice
孙
to
中山先
complete
生的未竟事
the
业，
unfinished Sun
取得了
Yat-sen,
新民主主义革
won
命
the
胜利，
victory of the new democratic revolution,
建立了
founded
人民
the
当家
People's
作主的
Republic of China,
中
where
华人
people
民共和
became
国，
masters of their own future
实现了民族独立、
and attained
人民解放。
national independence and people's liberation.
在这个基础上，
From that
中
basis,
国共产党
the
人
Chinese communists
团结带
have
领中国人
unitedly
继续奋
and
斗，
led the Chinese people in further
完成
struggle
了
to complete
社会主义革命，
the socialist
确立
revolution
了
and
社会主义
put
制
in
度。
place a socialist system.
新中国成立67年，
In the
特别是
67
开
years,
国
the
年来
founding of the People's Republic of
在 中
China,
国共产党领导
especially
下，
the 30-plus years since reform and
中国
opening
人
up,
民
the Chinese people under the
在社会主义
leadership of the
道路
Communist
上
Party of China
实现了一个
have
又一
accomplished
个
quantum
伟大
leaps
飞跃，
one after another on the
取得
path
了
of socialism
举世瞩
and
目
attained
的伟大成就。
significant achievements widely recognized
今天
by the whole world.
我们
Today,
可以告慰
It would be a great comfort to learn for Dr. Sun Yat-sen
我们比
that
历史
now
上任何时期
we are closer
都更
to
接
the
近
goal of great
中
renewal
华民
of
族
the
伟大
Chinese
复兴的目
nation
标，
than in
比历
history,
史上任何时期
and we are more
都
confident
更有信心、
and capable
有能
of
力
achieving this
实
goal
现这个目标。
than any time before.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
我们对孙中山先生最
the
好的
best
纪
way
念，
to honor the memory of Dr.
就是
Sun
学习和
is
继
to
承他的
emulate
伟
and
精
carry
神，
forward his spirit,
团结一切
unite with all
可以
forces
团结的力
that
量，
can be united,
调动一
and
切，
mobilize as
可以
much
调动的
support
因
as
素，
possible
为
to
他
continue to work
梦寐以求的振兴中华
for his deeply
而继续
cherished
奋斗。
aspiration of China's rejuvenation.
我们要学习孙中山先生
We must learn from Dr.
热
Sun
爱祖
Yat-sen
国、
for his
献身
lofty
祖国的
character of loving
崇
and
高
being
风范。
devoted to the country.
孙中山先生最大的特点
The biggest
是
feature of
热
Dr.
爱祖
Sun
国，
is his love for his country
一生追求实
and
现
lifetime
民
pursuit
族独立，
for national
振
independence,
兴的理想，
development, and rejuvenation.
对此矢志不移。
He has
无比
unshakable
坚定
resolve for this ideal.
孙中山先生说
He said,
做人的最大事情是
"What's
什
the
么？
most important for a man?
就是要知道
That is,
怎么样
he
爱
should
人。
know how to love his country."
他总是以
He always spurs
爱
himself
国若
on
命
by the mottos
一
of
生
loving one's
一息
country
尚
as his
存
own life
不
and
忘
saving
旧
the nation till the
等
last
鞭
gasp.
策自己。孙中山先生具有高度的
He has
民族
strong
自
national
尊
dignity
和民族自
and
信，
confidence.
不泥古，
He does not stick stubbornly to old
不
rules
崇洋，
or have blind
不媚外。
faith in foreign things.
强调
He stressed
中国的社会
Chinese
既
society
然是和欧
is
美
different from European and
所以
American
管
ones.
理社会的
So
政治
naturally, the way of
自然
managing the
也是
society
和
is
欧美
different
不同。
from theirs. He said, "We will survive if the right of development lies with ourselves and perish if with others." He has arrived at a principle from his bumpy life and long-term struggle. That is, to reform China, one must be based on China's realities and pursue a path suited to China's national conditions. History has always told us that there is no nation in the world who can achieve development and rejuvenation by following others' footsteps. And there is no fixed path which can lead all nations to development and rejuvenation. All nations who have succeeded in their cause have done so because they have found paths suited to their realities. Today, if we want to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must carry forward the great spirit of patriotism and be confident that the Chinese nation will to beat a successful path of rejuvenation. Patriotism is specific and realistic. In today's China, to carry forward patriotism, we must realize that the leadership of the Communist Party of China and the socialism must be always upheld unswervingly. Socialism with Chinese characteristics established by the Chinese people under the CPC leadership must always be upheld unswervingly. The fundamental policies of the CPC and the Chinese people for independent development of the country, developed by developing root in China's realities and learning from fine achievements of human civilizations, must always be upheld unswervingly. We must strengthen confidence in the path as well as in the theory, system, and the culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and defend and build our great country along this path. We must learn from Dr. Sun Yat-sen for his love for the people and his broad mind that the whole world belongs to the people. Dr. Sun is deeply devoted to the people and always believes the people is the master of the whole world. He has put in unswerving efforts to remove people's worries and pursue happiness for them. He has unshakable resolve for this cause. Knowing full well that the people has the greatest power, Dr. Sun stressed that to win the revolution, the people must be awakened. He's concerned about people's hardships, emphasizing that the foundation of the country lies in the people. People's livelihood is priority in social progress. What the people cannot do, we must do for them. What the people have no right for, we must fight for them. He said earnestly,
要立心做大事，
we need to set our mind on achieving major causes, not on securing higher official positions.
是他追求真理，
His love for the people is the source of his strength to pursue strength and be committed to the revolution, and a solid foundation for him to keep struggling and never giving up.
任何一项伟大事业要
For any great cause to succeed,
都必须从
it
人
must
民中
take root in
根基，
and never pull strength from the
从
people
人民中
and be
积
completed
力量，
by the people together.
由人民共同来完成。违背人民意愿，
If it goes against people's will and lose people's
任何事业
support,
都会成为
any cause will be water without source and trees without
都是
root,
不能成功的。
and is bound to fail.
今天
Today,
要开创中华民族伟大复
to
兴
make
起
new
的
progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation,
就必须始
our
终
party must
把全
take
心全意
serving the people
为人民服务
wholeheartedly
作
as
为根本，
our fundamental principle,
始终把人民拥护
take
和
people's
支持
support
作为力
as
量
the
的
source of our strength,
坚持把人
and
民
put the people
放在心
at
中
the highest
最
position
高位置。
in our heart.
我们要坚持一切为了人民，
Whatever we do is for the people
依靠人民，
and by the people,
永远保持
and we
对
must
人
always
民
stay
的
true
赤子之心，
and stand together with the
永远
people.
同人民站在一起，推动改革
We
发
must
展
make
成果
reform and development achievements benefit
更公平，
the whole
惠
people
及全体人民，
in a fairer way.
朝着实现全体人民
Move to the goal
共同
of
富裕的
achieving
目标，
common prosperity of the people
把13亿多
and
中国
make
人民
the 1.3 billion Chinese people
推动中华民族
a
发
strong
展
force
壮大
for the
的
development
磅礴力量。
of the Chinese nation.
We
must learn from Dr. Sun
追求
Yat-sen
真理，
for his fine qualities of pursuing truth
优秀
and
品
keeping
质。
abreast with the times.
孙中山先生眼界宽广，
A far-sighted and broad-minded man,
一生追求
Dr.
真
Sun
理，坚持
has
真理，
pursued truth for his lifetime without any vacillation.
世界上没有先知先觉的。
There's no truly prophetic figure in the
孙中
world.
山先生
Dr. Sun believes
世界潮流浩
the
浩
trend of the
荡荡
world is
顺
surging.
之者昌，
Those who go
逆
with
之
it
者
will
亡
thrive, and those who go against it will perish.
善于从
He's
实
good
践
at
中学
learning from practice,
包括从失败的
including
教训中
from the
学
lessons of failure.
因而能够
Therefore,
视乎世界之潮流
he，can adapt to the trend of the world and meet people's needs.
他说
He said,
我一生的嗜好
"What I have loved
除了
for
革
my
命外，
lifetime, in addition to revolution,
好读书。
is reading.
我一天不读书，
I can't live for one day without reading."
他从不停止探索
He has never stopped the pace of
从
exploration
不拒绝
and
修
forging
正自己的
ahead,
思想
and never refused to amend his thoughts and propositions.
他总是内
By
审
reviewing China's circumstances
外察
and world
世
trend,
界之潮流，兼收
he has
共
learned
长，
from others
亦以新创，
and made innovation
努力赶上
to
时代
keep
潮
up
流。
with the trend of the times.
无论是从社会改良
His change from a social
转
reformist
变为坚
to
定的，
a firm democratic revolutionary,
还是
and
把旧三民主义
his development
发展成
of the
新
old
三民主义，
three principles of the people to the new ones
他敢于
have
突破局
reflected
限，
his
不断自我革新，
admirable spirit of breaking confinements and making innovation. The wheels of the history are moving forward. Those who cannot follow them will fall behind and be cast aside by history. History will only favor those who firmly forge ahead in their struggle and will not wait for those who hesitate, slack off, or flinch from difficulties. Today, to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must have a broad historical perspective, seize the trend of world development, listen to the voices of the time, keep to truth, and correct any mistakes, so as to push forward theoretical, practical, institutional, cultural, and other innovation, and write a new chapter in the development of the Chinese nation in the powerful current of the times. We must learn from Dr. Sun Yat-sen for his indomitable and unyielding spirit of struggle. Dr. Sun has been committed to national revolution for 40 years and stayed true to this cause for his lifetime despite any setbacks. He has firm and unshakable resolve for this cause. He said, "It is so worthwhile to build the foundation of the nation which will last for tens of thousands of years with the several dozen years of the life of our generation." He met numerous setbacks and hardships in revolution. But to build an independent and free country and defend the interests of the country and the people, he has never lost heart or shrunk back from failure or difficulties. He firmly believed, if we think we can, then our cause will succeed, even if it takes moving mountains and filling in oceans. If we don't believe we can, then it will fail as easily as turning our hands. As long as we are dedicated and spare no efforts, as long as we follow the trend of progress and justice, then our cause will surely succeed. Any external threats, internal division, or temporary failure cannot shake Dr. Sun's resolve for revolution. Even on his deathbed, what he had on his mind is still peace, struggle, and saving China. Dr. Sun has honored his pledge with his lifetime struggle, showing the heroic spirit and persistent pursuit of a great revolutionary. The greatness of a cause lies in not only that it is just and massive, but that it is not smooth sailing. The greatness of a man lies in not only that he has made tremendous contribution for the people, for the nation, and for mankind, but that he himself has built a strong mind and a noble character in hardships. Today, if we want to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must soberly review the international circumstances undergoing profound and complex changes, take a holistic approach to the arduous tasks of reform, development, and stability, and putting relentless efforts for this purpose. At no time should we think that our goal can be achieved easily and comfortably. We must take responsibilities on our shoulders, be ready to meet major challenges, fend off major risks, overcome major obstacles, and resolve major problems. We must show exceptional courage as well as extraordinary drive to push forward the cause of great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Comrades, friends, Dr. Sun Yat-sen has always firmly defended unity of the country and the nation, and clearly opposed all words and deeds of separating the country and the nation. He said, China is a united country. This has been deeply enshrined in the historical perception of our country. Just because of this perception, we have survived as a country. He stressed, reunification is the aspiration of the whole Chinese people. If we can get reunited, the whole Chinese people will be blessed. If not, the whole Chinese people will suffer.
To realize full reunification of the motherland represents the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation, the shared aspiration and the noble mission of all sons and daughters of China to ensure the integrity of our country and uphold the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation is the common will of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation and an inexorable trend of the history. Compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are brothers bound by blood ties. The two sides are an inseparable community of common destiny. The peaceful growth of cross-strait relations is the right path for upholding peace across the Taiwan Strait, promoting common development, and creating benefits for people on both sides. We are committed to the common political foundation of the 1992 consensus, deepening economic and social integration of the two sides, and enhancing the well-being and close ties between our compatriots. We are willing to interact with any political party, group, or individual in Taiwan, no matter what they advocated in the past, as long as they recognize the 1992 consensus and that the mainland and Taiwan belong to one and the same China. The future of the compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are closely linked to the great renewal of the Chinese nation. Compatriots on both sides and all the sons and daughters of China at home and abroad must join hands to oppose the separatist forces advocating Taiwan independence. We all need to work together for the peaceful growth of cross-strait relations and for the full reunification of the motherland and deliver a better life and a better future to all the Chinese people. Since modern times, China suffered a tragic history of more than 100 years when our country was torn apart and the people bullied. This is something no Chinese would ever forget. To uphold state sovereignty and territorial integrity and never allow our country to be separated again is a solemn pledge we made to history and our people. All separatist activities will be by all the Chinese people. We will never allow anyone, any organization, or any political party to separate 1 inch of Chinese territory from China at any time, in any way. Comrades, friends, only when the country and the nation fare well can its citizens fare well. Dr. Sun Yat-sen worked all his life with the expectation that China could one day become the most prosperous, peaceful, and harmonious country in the world, and that the Chinese people can become the happiest people in the world. Dr. Sun Yat-sen hoped that we could carry forward China's traditional culture and draw strengths from different cultures in the world so that China can achieve equality and parity with all the other nations in the world. As he worked tirelessly for the revolution, Dr. Sun Yat-sen had been pondering how to develop China. From 1917 to 1919, he wrote the book The International Development of China, where he envisioned a grand blueprint for China's development, including building 160,000 kilometers of railway that would link China's coastal, inland, and border areas, building 1.6 million kilometers of roads, which would cover the entire country and extend into the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, building and fixing China's waterways and canals, constructing a dam at the Three Gorges region, developing inland transportation, water resources, and power generation, and building world-class ports in northern, central, and southern China, and vigorous agriculture, manufacturing industry, and mining. The blueprint Dr. Sun Yat-sen charted demonstrates his extraordinary insight and avid expectations for China's development. At that time, some foreign journalists thought that Dr. Sun Yat-sen was just dreaming of something that could not possibly be achieved. Indeed, under the political, economic, and social conditions of the old China, it was extremely difficult to realize these grand visions of Dr. Sun Yat-sen.
在中国共产党领导
Yet
下，
today, under the leadership
在
of the
全国人
CPC
民
and with
各族
the
人民
tremendous efforts
顽强奋斗下，
of all the Chinese people,
孙中山先生当年描
the
绘的这个
grand
蓝图，
blueprint envisioned by
早已
Dr.
实
Sun
现。
Yat-sen had long
中国人民
materialized.
创造的许多成就，
Many of the
远
achievements
远超出
made
了
by the Chinese people
孙中山先
have
生的
far
设想。
exceeded his expectation.
祖国大地上，铁路
Across
进
China,
青藏，
we now have railway
公路
extended
运程网，
to Qinghai and Tibet,
高
an
峡
extensive
出行
network of roads, dams
港口
over
连
lakes
理
and rivers, ports to all 5
产业
oceans,
门类齐
a，whole range of industries,
道脉遍地
fertile
香。
lands,
神州
space
敖太空，
programs,
国防更坚强。
and a stronger national defense.
孙中山先生致力于建设的独立、
The independent,
民主、
democratic,
富强
and
的国家，
prosperous country
早已
that Dr. Sun Yat-sen
巍然屹
was
立在
committed to building
世界东
now
方。
stands tall in the east of the world.
实践充分说明，
It has been proven
只要道路正
that
确、
with
理论正
the
确、
right path, the right
制度正
theory,
确、
the right
文
system,
化正确，
and the right culture,
只要坚定不移、
with strong
坚韧不
conviction,
拔、
persistence,
坚持不懈、
perseverance,
艰苦奋斗，
and unremitting efforts,
朝着伟大目标持之以恒前
and
进。
with the unwavering commitment
风雨
to
如寒不动
attaining
摇，
the great
我们的目
objectives,
标就能够达
we
到。
can
我
and
们的
will
目标
certainly
也
achieve
一定能
what
够
we
达
set
到。
out to do. 92 years ago,
孙中山先生这样表述他对中华民族的
Dr. Sun
期待
Yat-sen expressed his
中
expectations
国如
for
果
the
强
Chinese
盛起
nation.
来，
If
我
China
们不
becomes
但
prosperous,
是要恢复民族的地
we will
位，
not only restore our
还要对
nation to its
世界
rightful place,
负一
but
个
also
大
fulfill our major responsibility to the
60
international
年前
community. 60
毛
years
泽东
ago,
同志
Comrade Mao Zedong
在
pointed out,
纪念孙中
when
山先生诞
commemorating
辰
the 90th
90
birthday
周年时
of
指出
Dr. Sun Yat-sen, that China
应当对于人类
should
有
make
较大
a
的贡
fairly
献。
big contribution to mankind.
30年前，
30 years ago,
邓小平同志说，
Comrade Deng Xiaoping said,
国家总的力量就大了，
with our country growing stronger,
为人类
there is
做
more
更多的
we
事
can
情，
do for mankind,
在解决南北问题
and
方
there is
面
more we can
可
do
以尽。
for resolving
更多的力量。
the North-South problems.
我们就是有这么一个雄心
That
壮
is
志。
our ambition.
中国人民不仅希望自己发展
The
得好，
Chinese people want
也
good
希望
development not
各
just
国
for
都发展
themselves,
得
but also for all the other
希
countries.
望各国人民
We want
都能
people
拥
of
有
all countries
幸福
to
安宁
live
的
a
生活。
happy and peaceful life.
我们要推动构建以合作
For that, we need to
共赢为
promote
核心
a
的，
new model of
新型国际
international
关系。
relation win-win cooperation
推动形成人类
and
命运共
foster
同体
a community
和利益
of
共
shared
同体，
future and shared interests for
始
mankind.
终做
We will always be
世界和
the
平的建设者，
facilitator of
全
world
球发
peace,
展的贡
the
献者，
contributor to
国
global
际秩序
development,
的
and
维
a
护者。
defender of international
同世
order.
界各国人民
And we
一
will
道，
work with people of all
共同创
countries
造
to
人类
create
和
a
平
better future
与发展
of
的
peace and
美好未来。
development for mankind.
5000多年来，
Over the past
中华
5,000
民族在
years
自己
and
的发
more,
展历程中，
the Chinese
已经
nation, through its own
为人类
development,
做出了伟大
has
的贡
already
献。
made tremendous contribution
未
to
来岁月里
mankind. Going
中
forward,
国人民
the Chinese
和
people
中华民族
and the Chinese
也
nation
必将
will
为
continue
人类和平与
to
发
make
展的崇高事
new
业
and greater contribution
做出
to the noble
新的
cause of
更
peace
大的贡
and
献。
development for mankind.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades and friends,
孙中山先生当年说
as Dr. Sun Yat-sen once：“ said,
以400兆苍生之
with
众，
4 million hardworking people
数万里土地之
and rich
遥，
land that spans tens of thousands of square
发
meters,
愤为雄，
there's no
无敌
reason
于天下。
that we can't rise as a force to
唯
be
愿
reckoned
诸
with.
君将振兴中
I
国
hope
之责
that all
任
of you can put on your shoulder the
自身之肩
responsibility
上。”
of reviving China.
孙中山先生在生命的
Even
最
in
后
the
时刻
final moments of
仍
his
然
life,
嘱咐
Dr. Sun
革
Yat-sen
命
still urged
尚未成
comrades
功，
to carry on,
统治
for the
仍是
revolution was yet to achieve success.
实现中国现代化，
To realize
实
China's
现中华民族伟
modernization,
大复兴，
the great renewal of the Chinese
实现
nation,
全体
and the
中国人
common
民共同富
prosperity
裕，
of all the Chinese
我们
people,
还有
we
很
still
长的
have
路
a
要走，
long journey ahead of
还
us
有很多
and
困难
many
和风
challenges
险
and difficulties to
要去战胜。
overcome.
我呼吁所有敬
I
仰
call on all the
孙
Chinese
中山先生的
people
中华儿女，
that look up to Dr. Sun
包括
Yat-sen, including all compatriots
港澳
on
同
the
胞、
mainland, in Hong
台
Kong,
湾同胞、
Macau,
海
Taiwan,
外侨胞，
and overseas,
无论党派信仰，
regardless of your
无
political
论身在何
affiliation,
处，
your religion,
更
and no
加紧
matter
密地
where you
团
are,
结起来，
to unite more closely
把
together,
握历史机遇，
seize the historical
担当
opportunities,
历史责任，
shoulder the historical
把孙
responsibilities,
中山先生等
and take
一
forward
切
the great
革命
cause
先辈
which Dr. Sun Yat-sen
为之
and
奋
all
斗
the
的伟大事业
revolutionary forefathers had
继续
dedicated
推向
their
前
life
进。
to.
把近代以来
Let us
一
carry
切仁
forward
人志士
the great
为之
cause
奋斗的伟大
which
事
all
业，
compatriots
继续
since modern
推向
times have been fighting for.
把近代以来
Let us push forward
中国人民
the great cause
和中华民
which
族
the
为
Chinese
之
people
奋斗的伟大
and the
事业，
Chinese nation
继续
since modern
推
times
向前进。
have been striving for.
谢谢。
Thank you.